All right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good evening. It is January 30th, 2018. Can you believe it? We are in 2018, and we have already knocked out the first month of 2018. Man, time flies when you are having fun. Listen, tonight you are on the online marketing training call. We use this call to teach you how to use the online marketing tool as well as different techniques on how to use social media to get leads and attract people to your business. So tonight I'm going to be talking about a website that I like, and I'm going to give you some of the pointers on why I like this website, and I think it can be a very valuable website for you. I have a member that's here in Atlanta. I taught on this some years ago, and he has been using this website and has had a lot of success in getting people to show up to some of our Super Saturday meetings. And that website is none other than LinkedIn. LinkedIn. If you have not heard of LinkedIn, LinkedIn is a business social media tool. Now, for those of you who don't know, in my prior career, I was a corporate recruiter, and we use this tool exclusively for finding and hiring talent. And so LinkedIn is a professional network. Now, LinkedIn is very different from other social media networks like Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat and all of those different social media networks. LinkedIn is a little bit slower, but it is definitely much more professional. So what I typically find is that those of us that are a little bit more senior in age, we tend to like LinkedIn because it doesn't move as fast as Facebook. There's not as many distractions as Facebook and some of these other things, and a lot of people can grasp LinkedIn a lot easier and faster. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn, again, is the largest professional network out there. And most people use LinkedIn for job searching or for connecting with other business owners, for business networking, and that's why LinkedIn is such a powerful tool for us. Now, one of the other exciting things about LinkedIn is that the statistics say that the average person on LinkedIn is averaging somewhere between $80,000 to $100,000 a year in income. That the average person on LinkedIn is more than likely to have 2+ or better years of college education. And so what you're looking at is you're looking at what we call white-collar professionals that are on LinkedIn. Now, that does not detract away from anyone that does not fit that qualification, but LinkedIn is a great tool that fits a lot of the qualifications of what we are actually looking for. So, for example, LinkedIn has individuals that are usually have families, they're married, they've got 2 kids and a dog. And so this is really a place where you can find some really, really great talent, and you can start building relationships on LinkedIn. Now, before we get into how to find people on LinkedIn, the first thing that we want to do is we want to talk about our own profile. What does our profile look like? So what I did is I focused on my own profile so that you could get a glimpse at what LinkedIn or what you should be doing on your LinkedIn profile. So as you'll look here at the profile, I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit. Let me see if I can zoom in here so you can get a closer view of my profile here. Let's see if this computer will act right and allow me to zoom in. Let's see here. There we go. So as you can see on my profile, I have a header here. There's a header back there, and so you'll see I recently just updated this header and put this header here. It's attention grabbing, and then I have my photo, and my photo is a headshot. Very nice headshot. It's clean. It's professional. Remember, LinkedIn is a professional network. So what you have to do is, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. And so because this is a professional network, this is typically where people go to be discovered for job opportunities, where they go to have business networks. You want to look the image. You want to look the image. So we've got a nice looking header here. On LinkedIn, you'll see these little pencils here. These pencils allow you to edit everything that you see on the page. I've got my professional headshot here. You'll see that I'm in a blue suit. My daughter calls this my presidential suit. Blue suit with a red tie and a white shirt. That's all American right there. And then I have basically a statement or a title here, and it says, I help entrepreneurs become profitable. Now, as we begin to look all across LinkedIn, a lot of people just have their job titles here. I wanted to stand out, and I stand out by saying I help entrepreneurs become profitable. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you're thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, you're going to take a look at my profile and see what it is all about. Now, I want you to think resume when we start talking about the LinkedIn profile and you designing your profile. I'm going to click here where it says show more, and I'm going to show you my profile right here. And you don't have to do it exactly the way that I'm doing it here. In fact, you want to be creative and come up with your own type of profile. But here's what I did. I tell people what I do. And so I said, I help entrepreneurs, business owners become profitable by revealing to them overlooked cash flow strategies that are missed by 80% of those who own and operate businesses. Okay? And then how do I do it? I provide a training program aimed at helping entrepreneurs increase their cash flow multiple, and see, I got a grammatical error here. I help entrepreneurs to increase their cash flow multiple ways using what I call the personal financial success system. Business owners have access to hundreds of business deductions that employees do not. A few of those deductions include car, cell phone, internet, travel expenses. Business owners can even hire their children and pay them tax-deductible wages instead of giving them allowances. These strategies allow part-time entrepreneurs the opportunity to maximize their take-home pay from their day jobs and utilize that money for investing or debt elimination. The average home-based business owner realizes thousands of dollars in additional tax deductions annually. So I can continue to go through this and kind of read this, but here's what I want you to understand when you look at my LinkedIn profile and you're reading this. When you read this, this sounds like a corporate guy, doesn't it? Looks like a corporate guy, sounds like a corporate guy. When I read the profile, sounds like a professional. You want to sound like a professional. This is very different from what you see on Facebook. All the crazy posts that you see, what do they call them, emoticons or amicons or whatever they call those things. You don't see that over here in LinkedIn. This is the grown person's network, a grown man's network, a grown woman's network, okay? And then I just say, if your goals include spending more time with loved ones, becoming debt-free, diversifying your income, flexible to traveling more, and I got to go in here and I got to update some things here, to bless and enrich others. I believe I can help. Email or call me, and then I give them my contact information where they can get in contact with me. I even have my Google Voice number here with my name in the phone number. And maybe one day I'll share that with you on how I actually did that. And so this becomes a really intriguing introduction to who I am and what I do. It is very professional, sounds very professional, and it works. It works, it works, it works. There are many people that have a LinkedIn profile, but they don't have any information on the profile. when you connect with people, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to come take a look at your profile and see what you're all about. So this is very, very important. Now, below the profile, I've got some media. And what LinkedIn allows you to do is it allows you to upload media. And so I've got a video on why choose myEcon. I got another video on what the wealthy buy on payday. If I click next here, I got a video of mine that I've done that says wealthy people don't use banks. I've got another video of me that says upgrade your financial literacy with myEcon. And so, and then emergency fund, the first step to wealth. So again, I'm being very congruent with my message. I'm talking about finances. I'm talking about business. You come down to the bottom, there are videos that you can watch. And see, when people click on this, if they click on that video, it's going to pop open a video where they can actually watch that. There I am, not necessarily in a suit, looking a little bit more relaxed, but that's okay. You've got a very professional video that's done here that I've done, and they can watch that video. So this is exactly how you want to set up your LinkedIn profile here. Now, before I go any further, I see I got some questions that are coming in. Let me take a look and see what I've got here. Dana from Kansas City says, I already have a LinkedIn page for my regular profession. Can you create a second page for myEcon? Dana, that is a fantastic question. Let me tell you what I had to actually do, Dana. Most people here in myEcon know me as June Collier. You guys see that? I'm June Collier. But when I was in the corporate world, I recruited high-level executives. I recruited high-level technical people, IT people. And so because this is a tool that I use often in my career and in my occupation, I did not necessarily want to mix what I did part-time with what I was doing full-time. Now, I happen to be full-time with myEcon today, so it's not a big deal. But when I was in corporate America, it was somewhat of a big deal for me because the job that I had, a lot of people were looking at my LinkedIn profile because I was contacting them about jobs. So let me show you what I did. I'm going to open up another LinkedIn window here. And this time, in this particular window, I'm going to search on a guy whose name is Otis Collier. Boom, we're going to click on Otis Collier. Man, it looks like the same guy, doesn't it? He even has on the same suit, right? And so, again, what I did here, obviously I hadn't put in a header here. And the reason why I haven't really put a header here is because I'm full-time with myEcon now, and I'm June Collier, and I just kind of leave it that way. But Otis Collier is, I guess what people say, my government name. My mom, my dad, everybody back home calls me June. That's my nickname. So June is my nickname, my official name. When I cash my checks in the name of Otis Collier. And so I did create two profiles. I had a profile under Otis Collier, and then I had a profile under June Collier. Now, at that time when I was working in corporate America, I didn't use the same photo. So I had two different photos, and people would always say, I didn't know you had a twin brother. Your twin brother looks just like you. And I would just laugh and play along with it. But you'll see that I did the exact same thing with my regular profile. I've got some information about who I am in my regular profile, and we'll talk a little bit more about your experience and everything else that's built into the profile. I still utilize all of the media in my regular profile, so these are things that I was doing anyway in my corporate job. Okay, so let's jump back over to June Collier just for a second. I showed you what my introduction was. Hopefully that worked for you. And I hope that I answered your question, Dana. I thank you. Yes, I did answer your question. So you can create multiple profiles here. Now, the next thing that you'll notice is as we scroll down and we begin to see our experience. Notice how my experience looks like a resume, right? Why does it look like a resume? Because I am doing what the Romans do. I am in Rome. And when in Rome, you do what the Romans do. Well, I'm on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a professional network where people look at your skill set. They look at, it's basically, where you put your resume. And if recruiters are looking for you, they can find you. If somebody wants to connect with you and create a relationship with you, they can find you and find out what it is that you actually do. And so that's what I did. I came in here, I put in, Vice President of Training and Marketing, myEcon, and I put in what I do at myEcon, my bullet points, all of the information that I thought would be necessary for myEcon. And then below that, I included the stuff that I did prior to myEcon, which was my corporate jobs, executive recruiting professional. And then I didn't list any particular company. I just said various Fortune 500 companies, which is not a lie. And then I even listed some of the companies that I've done work for, that I've consulted with. And so I listed that there. I listed my military experience. Now, why am I listing all of this type of information? Because you never know how people are going to connect with you. So see, this right here where I put in the U.S. Navy, I put military recruiter, submariner. See, there are people who would see this who have been in the military themselves. And in fact, I have a gentleman that's on my team, and he really connected with me because he saw that I was in the military. He saw I was a military recruiter. I have other people who saw that I was on submarines. Submarines, you don't find a whole lot of people walking around that were on subs. You find a lot of people that were in the military. You find a lot of people that were in the Navy. But you find very few people that have the nuts to be submariners and go up under the water. You just don't find that many people that's crazy enough to go up under the water and live under the water. So when you do find somebody like that, there's a common connection, a common bond. And so what I do is I try to list everything that I think would make me unique, that will allow me to stand out, where I can find a common connection with someone who may have some similar interests. This is all about you building your profile. We haven't even talked about going out and looking at other people's profile. We're still talking about our own profile. I went down and I actually included my education. So if I scroll down here, you'll see my education, where I went to school, when I went to school, and all of that good stuff. So, for those of you that have been in the military, I took most of my college in the military at St. Leo's University, and then after leaving the military, I finished up my degree with AIU. Then we've got endorsements, and we'll talk about that, because people will endorse you for different skills that you might have. And so I've got some skills listed here on things that I'm good at. And then recommendations. You can ask people who are connected to you to provide a recommendation. Now, why do we take advantage of recommendations? Because now you got other people tooting your horn. So I've got 18 people over here that have tooted my horn about what I have done and how I've helped them in myEcon. Mr. Al Parker, this is the gentleman that has taken my training on LinkedIn and has put in a lot of people in myEcon from this LinkedIn training, okay? So there's many different people, and you can actually go out and ask to be recommended. You can also give recommendations, right? That's very, very powerful. And I haven't really done a great job at this because I only have 18, but in my professional profile, if I go back to the Otis Collier profile, I was really serious about that profile and building it out. And you'll notice that on that profile, I have over 100 recommendations because I was very impactful, and I impacted and made a difference in a lot of people's lives. And so when people look at your profile and they start to see, man, this guy has 100 recommendations, and they start reading through the recommendations of the people, See, you don't have to tell people how great you are. Let other people toot your horn. Let other people talk about how great you are. Remember, as we are building our profile, we are building a profile so that as we begin to go out and reach out to people and connect with people, they're going to look at our profile and see what it is that we're all about. I've got different interests, things that I have an interest in, and you'll see all of that there. Let's click here and see more. I thought I had, that's all for my endorsements. I thought I had a section here that had my affiliations as well. And maybe they removed that on LinkedIn. But I included some of my affiliations when they had it here. Maybe that was something that they moved. But I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Incorporated. And so that's my fraternity. And so what I do is I listed that on my LinkedIn profile. Why? Because, again, I may be connecting with some people who are Kappas themselves. I may have some fraternity brothers out there who might be looking at a home-based business, and they see my profile, and that connection is the one thing that makes them stop and reach out to connect with me, okay? So the huge thing that I'm trying to tell you is that before you start going out here trying to connect with people, you got to make sure that you got your best foot forward with your own profile. And you got to spend some time with this, right? You got to spend time with this. And see, somebody says, well, June, man, how did you come up with all of this? How did you write all of this? I don't want to write all of that, right? And I'm gonna say this. Please don't come over here and just grab my stuff and put it on yours, because I've seen that. I've seen people grab my content off my LinkedIn page and put it on theirs. That's not what you want to do. You want to be original. So how did I do that? How did I do that? Well, you know, what I did is I went out and I looked at job descriptions for different types of jobs that might align up with what we do in myEcon, okay? And so you may want to go out to just some different websites that have job descriptions and take a look at the job descriptions and maybe grab some pointers from those job descriptions to sort of build out your profile, okay? I'm trying to think of the one that I use. I'm at a loss right now because it's at on the tip of my tongue. There's a job aggregator for job search. Let me do a quick search here to see if I can remember. It's a job aggregator. Let me see here if I can just find it here real quick and I can show you what I did. Let's see, job aggregator. Give me one quick second. Let me just see if it's in here. They might have it listed here. Indeed, that's what I want. I want Indeed.com. So, you know, maybe you've heard of Indeed, maybe you haven't. Basically, it's just a job aggregator. And so what I'm going to show you is how did I write? How did I go in and write? That's my other profile. How did I go in and write this great profile here? How did I go in and go down here and write all these great bullet points? Okay, so here's what I did. You know, I'm the VP of training and marketing. And so I went to Indeed and I went here and I typed in VP of, let's just say marketing. And then it doesn't matter where. I'm just looking at jobs. So it doesn't matter where. It just says find jobs. So I get all of these different VP of marketing. Okay, so here's the Vice President of Field Marketing. And what I would do is I would click on that and I would read the job description here. And I look at these bullet points. And then I go, can I use this? Can I use this in my job description, right? Maybe I can, right? And then I keep scrolling down and looking at, you know, what were some of the requirements for that job. And I just kept doing that. I go to the next one, and I would look at the bullet points, you know, leads and managers, the internal marketing team, and external marketing partners for all marketing product, new member group. I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds like what I do. I copy that, boom, and I put it on, you know, maybe a notepad here, put it up here, and I go back and I start looking. right? And then once I somebody said this is how I built my resume, and in fact this is how I teach people how to write their own resume. You go and find the job titles, and then look at the job descriptions, and then you use some of these bullet points to write your resume. It's almost like a reverse effect, reverse engineering your resume. But what I would do is I would just go through here. Here's another one, brand activation. So I want to look at that and see what that's all about. And I would go through here and take a look at what the responsibilities are. And I would say, is that a responsibility of mine? Now, if you're a myEcon associate, you might want to take a look at a financial, let's just see if there's a financial literacy coach out there, okay? And so, we kind of look around and see if there's a financial literacy coach. Doesn't seem that financial literacy came up. Let's do financial literacy. And so we kind of look around to determine, boom, here's financial advisor. So maybe I want to use financial advisor, or I want to use financial professional. So that's what we do here. We are financial professionals. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to look at these job descriptions and then use some of these job descriptions. Investment strategist. Boom, let me take a look at that, see what that's talking about. What are some of the bullet points that they use on that? And so what I'm doing is financial literacy instructor. Boom, I love that. So now I get a chance to take a look and read these job descriptions. Because, see, here's what you have to understand. Somebody professionally in corporate America had to write this job description. Like there are people that their job is to write these great job descriptions. So you and I don't have to be great with words. We just have to learn how to copy and duplicate, right? And so what we do is we go in here and say, okay, let me read through this because somebody professionally got paid to write this job description, and now I can use some of the bullet points and put that on my resume or put that on my LinkedIn profile to build out my profile as a myEcon executive vice president or marketing director or whoever you are, okay? So what I wanted to do with that long description that I just gave you is show you how I built this resume with these bullet points on LinkedIn, okay? Now, understand this. That took me some time. This profile that I built out probably took me a couple of days to do. I didn't sit down and just type it out in 15 minutes and it was done. It took me several days for me to just kind of do the research and then look at the bullet points and then to change a few words here and there. So it took me some work. And if you are afraid of work, if you think that you're just going to come into myEcon and everybody's just going to sign up and you don't have to do any work and you don't have to do anything in your business and it's just going to be easy and marketing, all I got to do is just put some links on Facebook or put some links on LinkedIn and boom, I'm just going to blow up. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. And so you got to put in some hard effort to make this thing pop and make it work for you. All right, so I think I've spent enough time on that. Let's see if I got some questions or comments that came in. Someone says, I also use Indeed to build my resume. Great training, absolutely. Viewer number 20 says, yes, use those keywords to get databases to pull your info. Yolanda sounds like she is a recruiter. Viewer number 22 says, I'm a corporate recruiter and I tell my candidates to do the same. Absolutely, absolutely. This is just, for those of you that, I spent over, gosh, I don't even want to tell my age, but I spent over 20 some odd years doing corporate recruiting. So this is just a trick of the trade for recruiters and what we do. All right, so now that I've built my profile and now that I've got something for people to look at, what LinkedIn will do is it would even have people closely related to what you do. So you'll see, here's Roderick. He's a myEcon associate. Here's James Hall. Here's Mr. Alvin Curry, Mr. John Pettiford, right? And so, you can click on these and see if they've got some good profiles. I'm not going to click on them because I don't want to pick on them if they don't have good profiles, okay? So now that I have a great profile, what's next? What's next now that I have a great profile? Well, here's what's next. I now want to go and look for people who I can build relationships with, who I can start networking with. Now, here's something that I discovered. I am the VP of Marketing. I do online training every Tuesday. One of the things that I discovered was that it is very difficult to recruit, train, and manage, and you're not even supposed to manage in networking, but it's very difficult to recruit, train, and build relationships with people who live on the other side of the country who you never meet physically, right? Long distance recruiting and trying to get people in the business, it sounds great, but it's very difficult. You can get them in the business. $34.95, people will spend money to do that. The problem, however, is you got to get them plugged in. You got to get them trained. And oftentimes it can wear on you because now you got to do a Zoom meeting. They got to schedule a time. You got to schedule a time. You're trying to train on your computer. They're sitting at their house. They're halfway paying attention. It's difficult. So what I tell people is that why don't you use social media? Why don't you use online to find local people? That way, if I find local people online, we can now meet at the coffee shop. We can now meet at a meeting, and that way we're local. All right? So I'm going to show you how we actually do that. Let me take a little sip of water here. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Up at the upper top-hand corner, you'll see this little search bar on LinkedIn. If you click in that search bar, it's going to drop down here, and you'll see a search. It says for people, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for people. So we're going to click on people, right? And then you're going to see some people pop open. But what we want to do is we want to start drilling down. Right across here, you're going to see this little link here that says all filters. I want you to click on all filters. Now, what all filters is going to do is it's going to give you the ability to increase your search criteria. And this is what we used to do, or what I used to do as a corporate recruiter, is I come in here looking for people with certain skill sets, okay? Now, here's what I want you to do. The first thing is that we want to find people that we're not necessarily connected to. So there's a statement of 6 degrees of separation. What 6 degrees of separation means is that within 6 people, we all know each other. Well, my first degree in LinkedIn means that I'm already directly connected with these people. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for some people that I'm not connected to. So I'm going to click on second and third, okay, so that I don't pull back people that I'm already connected to, because I've probably already talked to those people. I'm looking for my second and third degree connections. The next thing that I'm going to be looking for is I'm going to be looking for what's my location? Where do I want to find these people, right? And so right now they have the greater Atlanta area, so I can actually look for people in the greater Atlanta area if I want to do that. There used to be, it's not here anymore because it's probably part of the paid feature. And by the way, I'm using LinkedIn free. I'm not using any of the paid features for LinkedIn. It used to be a feature where you can narrow down by zip code, but it doesn't quite allow that now. And so I can select the greater Atlanta area, or I could probably put in here Lawrenceville, Georgia, or Snellville, Georgia, or Stone Mountain. Let me try Lawrenceville. That's the area that I live in. I'm just going to put Lawrenceville, Georgia, and see if that works. And if it doesn't, we'll come back and we'll click on the greater Atlanta area. But see, this is my area. I live in the city of Lawrenceville. All right? So that's my area. Now, what else do I want? Maybe I want to search for somebody that's got a specific title. So, for example, let's just say I'm looking for somebody that's in outside sales. So I'm going to type in outside sales as their title, right? So now I know that that we can find people who are used to doing sales, right? Because some people are just afraid of sales and this and that. I'm trying to find some people I can start building relationships with. So I'm going to just put in outside sales as their title. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to the right-hand side and click apply. Let's click apply and see what happens. All right. Now, here's what happens. You're going to notice that all of these people are coming from the greater Atlanta area. So I don't know if that Lawrenceville deal actually worked or not, but they are coming from the greater Atlanta area. Now, I'm going to click on Timothy. He is a second-degree connection from me, which means that I'm not directly connected to him. Here's the beautiful thing. See, in myEcon and any other network marketing opportunity, you get to choose who you want to work with. So before I actually start reaching out to people, I want to look and learn a little bit about the person. So here's Timothy. He's an outside sales rep, and he sells for waste management, okay? So maybe he is selling for his company to come pick up your garbage or whatever, okay? He went to Kennesaw State University. I used to live in Kennesaw, right? My house was, about 5 miles from the university. And then I come down here and I take a look at him. And he tells me what he did. I have experienced several sales opportunities from door-to-door sales all the way now to outside sales rep with waste management. So guess what? This guy isn't afraid of talking to people. Now, I'm trying to build a business and I'm trying to build an organization and a team. And in network marketing, you got to get out and network. You got to get out and talk to people. So here I got a guy that's been knocking on doors. It don't get no better than that. See, this guy isn't afraid. He's not afraid of rejection. I was just reading something on Facebook and somebody was talking about, I've been talking to my friends and I just can't take the rejection, right? This is part of the business. This is part of the business. Everybody's not going to say yes to myEcon. You only need one or two to say yes, and those one or two be superstars and blow up your business. But this guy cannot be afraid of rejection. So I love that about him already. Now, as I scroll down, his name just I hope he's not on the call. So here's a myEcon associate, okay? And this myEcon associate may have already connected with this person, right? So Mr. Parker, and here it is right here. So Mr. Parker has been using my techniques on LinkedIn for a very long time. So I already see that Mr. Parker is connected with this young man. So, I might move on because Mr. Parker is connected. Maybe, maybe not. Then I get a chance to look at his resume. So he's an outside sales rep for waste management. He's been there, about 5 years, about 6 years. And then he also is a soccer coach, which means that he probably has some children because, who teaches soccer if they don't have children? So he probably has some children, some young children. He used to work at Foot Locker. He was a sales representative for Extreme Marketing. Let's take a look at some more stuff. He used to work for Coca-Cola, all right, as a merchandiser. So, see, I get a chance to learn a little bit about this guy. Then I go down and I look at his education. He went to Kennesaw State, and he got his degree in marketing. Nice. Let me go back. I didn't mean to click on that. Let me go back. He also went to Georgia State University. My daughter went to Georgia State University. So, see, now I'm building up some rapport before I even get a chance to meet the guy. So, see, this isn't necessarily a cold call because I'm already figuring out what we have in common. What are some things that we actually have in common that we can talk about? He's done some volunteer as a event planner. So I now kind of know a little bit about the guy. I'm looking at his skill set. I'm looking at what he's interested in. Let's take a look at some of the things that he's interested in. These are some of the people that he's following, okay? The companies that he might be following. He's following some Atlanta companies here, okay? All right. I'm just kind of taking a look. Here's what I want you guys to understand. This is what I'm doing. You're saying, well, June, when are you going to contact him? When I determine if he's somebody that I want to contact. So all I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of looking him over. What groups does he belong to? right? He belongs to Net Party, Atlanta Young Professionals, business and social networking events. Boom. He belongs to a sales administration group. He belongs to the Roswell Business Association. Roswell is another suburb of Atlanta, okay? So see, as I'm looking at this guy's a perfect guy for me to reach out to. He's a perfect guy for me to reach out to. So now that I've looked at him, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to, connect with this guy. I definitely want to follow him, okay? So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to follow him. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit connect. And when I hit connect, all right, I'm going to add a note to my connection here. And I'm going to say something to the effect, hey, I came across your profile today, and I see that you have a lot of things that we have in common. I used to live in Kennesaw. My daughter went to Georgia State, and I see that you are a sales rep for waste management. My brother used to work for waste management. Are you on LinkedIn for business or personal reasons? And I'm just going to ask him a quick question. All I'm looking for is for him to engage back with me, right? And that may have taken me 5 minutes, but I got one person that I'm engaging with. And then what I would do is I hit my back button, and I go to the next one. Let's take a look at Frank. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm looking at Frank. He's working for True Green. He lives up in Marietta. I used to live in Marietta. I really did, right? And so now I'm looking at what he did with True Green. So he's knocking on doors, asking people if he could provide lawn service for them, the fertilizer and insect control and all of that. He was a bartender, right? So, and he was from Los Angeles. Well, guess what? I'm getting ready to go out to Los Angeles next week, or now next month. So now I got something to talk to him about Los Angeles, right? He was a trainer. So here's what I understand about him. He's not afraid of people. He's not afraid of people. So maybe one of the reasons why I look for outside salespeople is because they're not afraid of people. They're not afraid of people. They're not afraid to talk to people. That's what they do for a living, right? And so now what I've done is I've narrowed down who I'm looking for. And now it makes it a lot easier for me to connect with people because I now know a little bit about them before I actually connect. So I'll hit my back button and I may connect with him, right? And you'll notice that I've got over 57,000 people that meet this requirement. So listen, I could spend all year just on this one search. And all of these people are in the Atlanta area, which means if I get somebody on the hook, well, here's somebody from Tampa, but most of these are in Atlanta. And take a look here. See, here's why I know my strategy works. There's Mr. Parker right there. There's Mr. Parker again. There's Mr. Parker once again. There's Mr. Parker once again. That old slick dog. He's been out here working this thing. Here's Mr. Parker once again. So see, I see Mr. Parker, but there's still people that he hasn't connected to. You know why? Because there's over 57,000 people. Mr. Parker's good, but he ain't that good. There's 57,000 people. So me and Mr. Parker can be targeting the same type of people and still not trip over one another. See, Mr. Parker got Timothy, but he didn't get Frank. Because maybe Frank was in that 57,000, but Mr. Parker hadn't seen Frank yet. Right? And so those are the types of things that you want to start looking for when you are using LinkedIn to connect with these people. And you don't want to hit them over the head immediately and say, hey, let me send you a link to my video. Let me send you a link to myEcon. No. You want to start building rapport with these individuals and start finding out what are they interested in? What motivates them, right? So that was one example of outside sales. Let me see if I got any questions or comments that are coming in. I hope this is good for you. Be strategic about your searches because LinkedIn now limits them with the free version. Absolutely, absolutely. And that's why, we're definitely going in and we're targeting specific people that we want to go after. Now, here's the other thing. I don't want you sitting here trying to connect with 100 people in one day. Here's why. If you connected with 100 people every day and 100 people responded back to you, you couldn't handle it. So what should you do? Come in here and connect with 5 to 10 people a day. That's enough. 5 to 10 people a day. That may take you 30 minutes to go through their profile, connect with 5 to 10 people. You start building relationships, and then pretty soon you are going to have to put the brakes on connecting with 5 to 10 a day, because you might have enough people coming in that you have to connect with 1 a day or 2 a day. And then you won't run into that situation about LinkedIn, limiting your searches, because you were on a consistent basis reaching out to 5 to 10 people a day. And then as you started getting feedback and traffic, then you had to cut that down to maybe 2 people a day. Does this make sense to everybody? I hope this is valuable to you. And I know that it's working because I see Mr. Parker working the heck out of it. Okay. Now, these are all people in the Atlanta area. So now, if we have a Super Saturday, Mr. Parker can connect with Timothy and invite him out to the Super Saturday. And now, him and Timothy can have a cup of coffee. Him and Timothy can get together and meet at Starbucks. See, I can't do that if I'm recruiting somebody in Los Angeles and I live in Atlanta. There's over 57,000 people from this one result. Now, let's go back and take a look at some other results that we could potentially do. So I'm going to clear this result out. I'm going to clear that out. I'm going to go back to all filters. This time, what I may want to do is I'm going to go back to 2nd and 3rd degree connections. I'm going to come down here and click on the Greater Atlanta area, because I want Greater Atlanta area, right? And maybe I want to see them from a network marketing company. Let's just see if they've been in a network marketing company before. So maybe I put down here 5 links, right? I know that 5 links had a lot of people leave way back when, and so I'm going to put 5 links here to see if I can find somebody in the Atlanta area who has been in 5 links in the past. So I got 255 results, right? And so I'm going to go down here. Here's Mr. Dale Thompson. He was an executive trainer at 5 links. So let's click on him and just take a look here, okay? So I already know something about him. I know that he understands network marketing, right? I already know that he understands network marketing. He doesn't have a full profile here. This is an example of a poor profile. He just doesn't know any better, okay? He's got some stuff here, but there's nothing about who he is, nothing about what he does for a living, none of that, right? And that's okay. I'm excited about that, okay? I'm scrolling through. I'm taking a look at, his thing. And so that's all that I see here. Now, because he was with 5 links, I may reach out to him and say, hey, Dale, I used to be in 5 links. I was just reaching out to you. Are you still involved in 5 links? Right? What are you doing these days? How did 5 links work out for you? What were you using for marketing? And he might be like, man, I couldn't get the thing going. And I would say, well, Dale, there was something that I can help you with. I can tell you one reason why you couldn't get it going is because your LinkedIn profile isn't complete. Let me share a couple of tips with you on how you can, build a business using LinkedIn. Because I already know that he uses LinkedIn because he's on LinkedIn, right? So there's one person right there. Let me hit my back button and see if I can find somebody else that was in 5 links here. So here's Kenneth Robinson. Let's take a look at Kenneth and see what's going on with Kenneth. All right, so he's in the Greater Atlanta area. He's in the courier business, right? So I know a little bit about him. He travels a little bit, okay? Says he recently became an entrepreneur with 5 links, but I don't know what recently means. Because if he's not updating his LinkedIn profile, that could be forever. But check this out. So he started 5 links back in 2010, and he's still with 5 links today. Okay, so what does that tell you? That tells you that he's committed to 5 links, right? Now, a person like this, if I approach this person, I'm not going to tell them about myEcon, how great myEcon is, and try to switch them out of 5links and come over here to myEcon. I'm not going to do that because I can see right now if you put 7 years into something, you committed to it. So I don't want to go in there and say, hey man, start all over. You've been over there in 5links. You need to come over here and start all over. What I may do is I may reach out to them and say, hey, I see that you're in 5links. I used to be in 5links. I see you've got 7 years in the game. Man, you must be having some massive success. And I'm just going to talk to him and ask him about what he's doing in 5links. Now listen, he is going to talk to me because he's a networker. A good networker, if somebody reaches out to you and you start asking them about their business, they're going to talk to you. All I'm trying to do is find out more about him. And then I might say, hey, listen, I think I have something that might enhance what you're already doing in 5links. I think what I have will maybe help you grow in 5links even faster. And then I'm going to say, does 5links teach you guys how to write off your expenses? Do you have software that allows you to track your expenses? Because guess what? You've been in 5links for 7 years. Have you been writing things off? Because you qualify for these things. And now I've become a consultant with him. And instead of trying to make him a myEcon associate, I may just say, hey, listen, we got a membership that's $35 a month. Try out this membership. It gives you all of these different tools, and it's going to help you in your business. I'm not trying to make him a myEcon associate who's out here trying to build a myEcon business. I'm trying to get him as a customer, right? So he might be a great customer. And I got that just by looking at his profile. So you can't get that on Facebook. And then take a look at this. He was an owner of JR Wings. Man, that's something to talk about, right? Because maybe you don't know, maybe you're not in Atlanta, but you know that's a popular, you know, JR Wings and things, right? So he was a member. He was a owner of a restaurant. He's an independent contractor. So I already know that he's a go-getter because everything he's done has been as an entrepreneur. He ain't got business guy nowhere on his page. Everything screams entrepreneur, right? And so I'm just going to talk to him and find out what's going on with him. We're going to scroll through. I see he went to Albany State, you know, and so I'm just kind of looking and learning about the individual. So what I'm teaching you tonight is I'm teaching you just some strategies here. So I'm going to go back here, go back to my search results. Again, I got over 255 people in the greater Atlanta area that have been in 5links or are currently in 5links, right? All of these folks here, right? These are people that I might reach out to, okay? And you never know, right? But, you know, I'm not approaching them with like a dog that's going to go for the jugular. I'm just trying to build relationships. And over time, as you build these relationships, you'll find people that you can pull into your business. So that's what LinkedIn is really all about, is about finding these relationships. Now, when I go back, I mean, the search is just what it is. If I go back here to all filters again, you know, I may want to look at customer service, or, you know, all I'm doing when I do my search, and I'll be honest with you, I'm looking for a particular title. Maybe I like sales reps. Like I said, I like outside sales because I know they're not afraid. Maybe I'll look for a company, somebody that's already in network marketing or has been in network marketing at some point. You know, I might come in here and put Amway. And then I'm going to look for second and third connections, degree connections, people that I'm not already connected to. And then I'm going to look locally in my local area, right? Why? Because I'm finding them online, but now I have the opportunity that if we get a good conversation going, I might be able to say, hey, man, where you work at? Why don't we get lunch sometime? Lunch is on me, right? And so what that does is that gives me an opportunity to get in front of the person and build a local team, invite them out to a local meeting. That works better than now I got somebody I signed up who lives in North Dakota, and I ain't gonna never go to North Dakota, and we ain't got no meetings in North Dakota, and it just makes it difficult. Why make your life difficult when you can use the internet to find local people, invite them to your local meetings, build a local team using the internet? You don't have to be all over the country. You can build your team locally and build a strong local team. So that's LinkedIn. That's LinkedIn tonight, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the call, and I hope that I get your phones muted out so that we don't get any background noise. I'm going to open up the call to see if there's any questions. I would rather you type in your questions if you've got a question. So go ahead and start typing in your questions if you've got a question. Also, if you have a question that has nothing to do with LinkedIn tonight, maybe it's about the online marketing system itself, I will answer that question as well. So if you got questions, you can type them in. I'm going to attempt to, I know what I can do. Here's what I can do. All right, what you can do is if you're on your phone and you're listening to this webinar, you can hit *6 on your phone if you have a question. *6 will unmute your phone, and I will hear your question. Otherwise, if you're on your computer and you're using your computer audio, you're going to need to type in your question if you have a question. So *6 on your phone if you got a question, or type it in, and I am waiting for your question. All right. I don't have anybody hitting *6. So, did you guys get some value out of this tonight? Type in yes if you got some value. All right. Here's Michael. Michael says, I have not been up to date on the online training as I should. What would you suggest is a good starting point for consistent marketing? That's a good question. So Michael, here's what I say when it comes to marketing. You don't have to be good at everything. All you got to do is find one thing and just work that one thing. Like, I can tell you without a shadow of doubt that Mr. Al Parker, I was teaching Facebook, I was teaching LinkedIn, I was teaching YouTube, I was teaching all of these different techniques, and Mr. Parker decided that LinkedIn was going to be his. And he decided that he was going to own LinkedIn. And this is no lie. I do trainings, and we do the Super Saturdays here in Atlanta every month. This is no lie. Every time we have a Super Saturday, that man has people in the meeting that he met off of LinkedIn. I promise you that. I promise you he works LinkedIn like none other. He don't know how to do nothing else, but he knows how to do LinkedIn. And that's the power of it, because what happens is if you're over here in Instagram, now you're over here in Facebook, now you're over here in LinkedIn, you never really get good at anything. You never get any good traction with one thing. Figure out what it is that makes you comfortable. See, some people love Facebook, and that's where they want to be. Some people love Instagram. You'll notice that I haven't done any trainings on Instagram because I don't use Instagram. Now, because of what I'm doing, I probably should go out and learn a little bit about Instagram and teach a class on Instagram. But the reason why I haven't taught Instagram is because I don't use it. I got it. I got an Instagram account, but I really don't use it, and I've never recruited anybody off of it. However, I got a guy on my team that has recruited several people off of Instagram. So I know that it actually works. But what you have to do is you have to figure out what you're comfortable with. Mr. Parker, I think he just celebrated like his 70th birthday. And so Mr. Parker likes LinkedIn because LinkedIn is a lot slower. What I mean by slower is there's not a whole lot of stuff that can distract your attention. You can focus. And that's what I like LinkedIn for as well. You can focus. And so what I would say is you got to figure out what is going to be your tool, and then use that tool exclusively and get really good at that one thing. All right, here's another question that came in from Miss Bradley, Miss Regina Bradley. Hey, June, in the future, will you be creating OMS banners or landing pages for the Smart Money Kit? Yeah, I know I need to do that. I need to create landing pages for every product that we've got. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Miss Bradley. The problem is that we got so much work that we got to do right now. I'm waiting on the W-4 to come back from the IRS. I'm waiting on publications to come back from the IRS, and so those things have a higher precedence than me creating capture pages. However, that's why we offer the elite version of the online marketing system so that you can create your own capture pages. So if you want a capture page for the Smart Money Kit, get the elite, and then you can create your Smart Money Kit capture page, and you don't have to wait on me to do that. So great question. Yes, I need to do more of that, but the reality is that that's very low on the totem pole of importance here at myEcon and what we've got coming out. Miss Yeverton says, woohoo! Yes, need a lot for the Smart Money Kit. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, all right, great. I don't see any other questions that have come in. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's training. There's a lot to do. I mean, there's a lot of places that you can go. And like I said, we got one person here in Atlanta that is killing it on LinkedIn. And I know because I see it every month. I see him. In fact, if you guys remember in December, some of you may have been here in December. I think it was December. We broke in and we did a business presentation, and we had the guests stand up and say who invited them. Mr. Chuck Harding was asking them who invited them. And we had 5 people that stood up that said that Mr. Al Parker had invited them to the meeting. I'm telling you, if you want to get people to your local meetings, this is the best way of doing it because you can narrow your search down and find people locally and spend the next 30 days. You see, in most areas, you got a meeting once a month, a physical meeting once a month. So you can spend the next 30 days finding people and inviting them to your local Super Saturday meeting. And now you can have 4, 5, 6 people in that meeting every time you have a meeting. So this is a great tool. It's a great tool. And I hope you guys take it serious and actually use it. All right. With that being said, let's check one more time, see if any questions I got Miss Regina Bradley also saying, please let me know your Los Angeles dates so that I can take the drive up from San Diego. I can tell you what the dates are already. It's going to be, let me pull up my calendar. It's going to be the last weekend in February. Let's see here. February. It's going to be, I'll be out on the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. I need to change this because I was supposed to be in Columbia, but I'm going to be the 22nd, 23rd, 24th. I'll be in Los Angeles. I may be in Ontario, California on the 22nd and 23rd. I'm definitely going to be in Los Angeles on the 24th. I think they're trying to squeeze in Ontario, California for me on the 22nd. So as soon as I find out from the team in Los Angeles, I will make sure that I post that for those of you that are out on the West Coast. All right. Ms. Bradley says, thank you, June. I'm technically challenged. I am still learning. I plan to upgrade to the elite really soon. Not a problem, Ms. Bradley. Just take it one step at a time. If you are technically challenged, then you want to do LinkedIn. LinkedIn is probably the easiest social network. There's not a whole lot to it. Once you do your profile's done, and then you just come in here and you search and start connecting with people. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being on the Tuesday night call with June Collier. This is our online marketing system training call. I hope you got a lot of value out of it. We do this call every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, again, get out there, start using LinkedIn, start connecting with people, get them invited to your local meetings. This is one way that you can take online, offline. See, take online, offline. Find some people locally online and then meet them offline. This is June Collier, VP of Marketing. God bless and good night.